Hi everybody. I obviously was not planning on shooting video today. I haven't shaved. I'm not wearing the right shirt. But I thought I'd shoot a very quick one just to talk about this. So I got a request this morning not quite a request, a complaint or question of how do people mount their Tobii or their eye gaze devices. In this case, a Tobii EyeX. And I had bought one of these because they were on sale at Amazon a few weeks ago. Jonathan Lasco pointed them out. And so I had one sitting here. So I went ahead and measured it. And as you can see, I made a camera mount for it. And what's neat is it's really stable. It's came out wonderfully. And I thought I would show it. And rather than just showing it and making it available on Thingiverse, which of course I'll do, I thought I would go ahead and show you how I made it. And I'm not going to do a lot of editing on this video. This is a rough cut video. I'm not even going to pause this here to show you. I am going to switch to the overhead and kind of walk you through what I did. So this is the way this looks now. You can see it's got the standard T-nut interface like the other mounts that we made recently. I need to make a small adjustment because the slots are making it through to the top, and they really shouldn't. They need to be on the inside where the T-nut is. But you'll see that this actually fits the device perfectly, right? So it's holding it against this. It's using the two mounting holes as intended. And it's actually symmetric, so you could flip this around if you'd rather have the mounting socket out here. You could do that. I think this is the more natural way because it kind of puts the mounting hole on the center of on the center of gravity for the device. So I think this is the right way to do it. I'm going to go ahead and unscrew this and show you. Let me turn off my own camera here. Give myself a little more room. There we go. All right, so go ahead and unscrew this and show you how it works. So these screws, and like every other vendor, this isn't specific to Tobii at all. Nowhere did it say what these screws were. These are M2.5 screws. Which I actually kind of thought they were. I thought they'd be either 2.5 or 3s, but they are metric screws. So these are the sockets that were there when it came through. And maybe somewhere in the documentation it says what they are, but I couldn't find it. So I took it over to Ace and I tried out all the screws until I found ones that fit. And so this is the adapter, and you'll see the M2.5 screws go through and hold it in place. And then this has got the same T-nut that we used in the other mounts. Gives a 1/4 on the back so that it'll fit on your standard camera mount. Okay. So how do we do this? So what I did this morning was I took. Let me show you here. So I took. Sorry, down here. So in Fusion 360. I'll walk you through kind of what I did, but I guess first I'll show you what I measured. So I got out a pair of calipers and I measured the distance between these two holes. Let me zoom out a bit. You can see. All right. So I measured the distance between these two holes, and it was about 82 millimeters. I also measured the distance between this hole and the ledge here, which is about 14 millimeters to where it actually is all the way down. I measured the distance between the hole and the edge of this plate here, and I also measured this depth. Okay, so those are the measurements I needed in order to be able to create the mount. So let's go ahead and look in Fusion and walk through the steps it took to make the mount. By the way, this is what the mount looks like in Fusion. And this Fusion 360, and you'll see that the slots aren't coming through here. They're actually like a tenth of a millimeter from breaking through. So all I really need to do is to make them slightly less deep, and that'll be good. But this is what it looks like in Fusion 360. Let me go ahead and walk you through the steps of creating this. So going back in the history, I'll turn off my camera again so you can see everything. All right. So going back in the history to the beginning, the first thing I did was I created a sketch that had those measurements that I took. See, the same dimensions that I said I'd measured. It's a 41, so this is 82 millimeters from edge to edge, or from hole to hole. And then I divided that in half. So this is 41. It was 5 millimeters from the center of the hole to the top. So 10 millimeters total. There's 14 millimeters from here to here, and then I doubled that for the size of the pad. And the only other thing is that I rounded these corners just so there wouldn't be any sharp points. Okay, so that's the sketch. Once I had that on one side, I actually used a mirror to duplicate it so that it's symmetric on the two sides, and I have this drawing. Now, with that drawing in place, oops, hitting the wrong button, sorry. With that drawing in place, I then extruded it by, I believe, a half a centimeter, so 5 millimeters. This is just to give it enough depth so that it would hold strength. Then I added the tabs to hold farther in, to give it little feet that hold against the part. And then I took the T-nut sketch, the T-nut that I've used on all the other mounts, and I added it in here. And I ended up having to spin it around and doing a little bit of manipulation to get it positioned correctly. But at this point you can see I've got here. So I positioned it correctly, and then I had to cut out this part of the bar by doing a combine, basically a subtraction. So I got rid of that piece here, and then I actually combined the two bodies so that I was no longer using the one that I imported. I had that same part combined into this body. Okay? Now, those operations are things that you learn once. They're not specifically, they're not ridiculously complicated, but you have to kind of know how to use Fusion 360. There are lots of videos showing you this. All I did at this point was I rounded a bunch of edges, and you'll see if I zoom back out, you'll see that all the edges here are rounded, and added a little fillet here to make that stronger. And really, that's it. That's all the work necessary to do this model in Fusion 360. Now, it doesn't capture all your errors. It only captures the end result of what you did. So it wasn't quite as simple as that. But that's the end result of what I did in Fusion 360. Then I clicked Make 3D Print, clicked on my part, and it brought it up in Simplify 3D, which is my 3D printing software. And I deleted the stuff that was already on the bed. And here you can see the actual part that's going to be printed. This is probably the way I should have printed it. I didn't. I turned it. I probably should have printed it in this orientation, or perhaps flipped 180 degrees. I printed it in this orientation right here, and it came out great. So it printed just fine. I ran the slicer to show me what it was going to look like, and here you can see the slicer, exactly every layer here. You can even watch it walk through printing it. If you hit play here, it'll show exactly how it's going to print it. It's a little slower when it's being recorded, but that's pretty much how it works. If I put in here the feature type, you'll see which parts are support materials. Like this purple one is the brim. I have to cut that off with a razor knife. These gray ones break off their support material. And then the blue and green are the actual part. You can see inside it, it's kind of fun to see that. I'll back this up a little bit. So right here, you'll see that it actually doesn't fill it solid. It actually uses like a hexagon shape. And you can see that when it's printing. That it's just trying to save some filament and still stay strong enough to work. You'll see it prints this gray support materials to hold this round shape up, so that as it prints, it'll hold up that top there. And then all you do is you break off these support materials when you're done. So I saved it to the thumb drive or the SD card. Walked it over to the 3D printer and I printed it. So let me show you what it looks like when it's done. You'll notice that it actually looks an awful lot like what we just had, right? So zooming in here just a second. All right, so you can see each of the layers that it printed here. I then went and found the right screw size. Like I said, that kind of stunk because they never tell you what the screw size is. I pushed in the T-nut and pulled it through with a bolt. And then all I'm going to do here is, and I'll put it back on, I put this back on just like this. Here, I'll show you how this kind of fits in. Sorry about the jerkiness. Like I said, I'm not planning on, there you go. So that'll fit just like that. And I will screw this in. Sorry. And now it is a very solid mount. This thing is not going anywhere. I can take a standard camera mount like this one, screw it in. It's got a standard 1/4-20 thread on the bottom, and that is done. Tight. Now I'll zoom back out here so you guys can see what this looks like. All right, and so this is what it looks like when it's done. So I would mount this. You can mount this however you want. Certainly, you could use a clamp like this. This was, I think, $5. There's a suction cup one. There's all kinds of different ones. It also might be that the right answer here is to take this long bracket right here. And rather than having just a 1/4-20, having little prongs that have it sit on your monitor, we could do that. This is an awful easy way to give you a lot of flexibility for mounting this, and it will be safe. This will certainly hold this little bit of weight very, very well. So let me know whether this works for you guys. Let me know if you'd rather have one that hangs on your monitor. I can do that as well. It's not a either or. I can do both. But I'll be happy to. If any of you are interested in doing some of this kind of stuff yourself, Fusion 360 is free for this kind of work. All of this will be on Thingiverse. I'll add it to the same account as the switch brackets that we made last week. And if anybody wants to get some of these, you can either find your local STEM club, which is what I recommend, or Makerspace. You can also order them on 3D Hubs, and then just get the M2.5 screws. That's the size screws you need for that. All right? So guys, have a good afternoon, and if you have any questions, post them below. I am going to post another video probably tomorrow when I can actually clean up a little bit, but we need to get a list of requests out to these vendors that say, what are the things you can do to be maker friendly? I promised that at ATIA to Dave Moffat and a couple other people. He said, can you give me a list of things we could do better? One of them obviously would be, well, provide a data sheet, but at the very least, provide us your screw sizes. Don't make us bring your parts over to Ace to find out what the size is. And this is not specific to this vendor. It's not specific to. They all do it. Okay, within the same product line, I've seen a 440 screw, a 632 screw, an M2 screw, a 1032 screw, all different small screws. And it's okay that they're all different. I have no problem with that, but tell us what they are. Don't make us stock all of them and go to Ace to find out what they are. By the way, thank you, Ace, for having them all nearby so that I can just run over there and grab them. But I'm really happy with this, and I'll be happy. I'll probably send this one up to Jonathan, or I might stop doing that. I might just make you guys go meet your local STEM clubs and have them print these. Because every time I send it out, I feel like that was a good motivator that was just lost. But whatever. You guys have a great afternoon, and post your comments below.